By now you are probably aware that A-levels are a significant step up from your previous studies. And one of the key changes is the level of independent study expected from you. But don't worry, you are not alone. Today, we're going to explore a method called the PACE study system. The PACE framework is designed to help you manage your independent study time, so that you are using the time productively and effectively. But most of all to help ensure success in your A-level exams. First, let's talk about why independent study is so important. A-levels are designed to develop your understanding of subjects in more depth. To do well in these courses, it's essential to do more than just attend your lessons, complete the homework set by your teachers, and revise for assessments and exams. You need to consolidate that learning in your own time. Ideally, for every hour you spend in a taught lesson, you should be doing 30 to 60 minutes of independent study. This study time allows you to process the material, fill in any gaps in your knowledge, and ensure you're prepared for future lessons and, ultimately, your exams. But how do you spend that time productively and effectively? It is not enough to just read over, highlight, and redraft your notes to make them look neat and pretty. Independent study goes beyond these superficial tasks, and that's where PACE comes in. PACE stands for Preparation, Audit, Consolidate, Extend. And we are now going to break down each part of the system and explore what they mean and what you can do at each stage. The first stage of the PACE system is all about preparation. This plays a vital role in your A-level success. Preparation isn't just about ticking off homework assignments or catching up on any work you have missed. It's about laying the groundwork for future learning and making sure you're fully prepared for your lessons and learning. Preparation is all about being proactive and engaged with your learning. It's about giving yourself the tools and confidence to tackle each lesson as well as the course as a whole. We are going to look at 3 ways you can prepare for your learning, although this is not an exhaustive list. First, let's talk about completing homework. Homework is work that is set by your teacher with a specific deadline. Homework can take on many different formats, including note-taking, completing practice questions, or completing a task. But whatever it is designed to reinforce what you've covered in class and ensuring that key concepts, ideas, and skills are sinking in. It's a chance to practice new skills or apply the theory you've learned. Skipping or rushing through homework means you miss out on this valuable practice, and it can lead to gaps in your understanding later on, as well as difficulty in engaging in tasks that are part of your lessons. Next, let's talk about organizing your notes. Lessons at A-level can move pretty fast, and it can mean that over the course of a week, your notes can get messy and disorganized. It is therefore important that you take some time after each lesson to make sure your notes are clear and structured. This is when you can rewrite anything messy, fill in gaps with information from the textbook, or add extra details from other sources. You may choose to have a messy notes exercise book to use in lessons and a separate exercise book to write up your notes and create your own revision guide, so to speak. The goal here is to make sure your notes are something you can easily review later when it comes time to revise for your exams. Being organized now will save you a lot of stress down the line. The final suggestion for using independent study time for preparation is to do some pre-reading for upcoming topics. This is a highly effective way to make sure you're ready for what's coming next in class. By spending a little time looking ahead, you give yourself a head start. Even just skimming through the relevant textbook pages or reading through class materials before the lesson can make a massive difference. It means that when your teacher introduces new content, it feels more familiar, and you're not starting from a blank slate. You'll be able to engage more in the tasks that are set, ask better questions, and contribute more confidently in class. Now, let's focus on the audit part of the PACE system, which is all about regularly checking your understanding of what you've covered in class. This stage is essential because it helps build the bridge between what you've just learned and how well you can retain that information in the long term. Without auditing your learning, it's easy for concepts to slip away before you've really had the chance to embed them into your memory. So, how do you audit your learning effectively? One of the best methods is quizzing yourself. Whether you use flashcards, apps like Quizlet, Seneca, and Carousel, or even create your own quizzes on paper, the goal is to actively recall information from memory. This process of retrieval strengthens your understanding and makes it easier to remember the material when you need it, like during exams. Repetition over time, known as spaced repetition, helps solidify that knowledge and ensures it doesn't fade away. Another key step in auditing is checking your understanding after every lesson. As soon as possible after class, go over the main points. Ask yourself, do I fully understand what was taught? Are there areas where I feel unsure? If you find gaps in your understanding, now is the perfect time to fill them. This might mean revisiting your textbook, asking your teacher for clarification, or using online resources to strengthen weak areas. Make this clear in your notes by using a different color pen, or post-it notes so you know this might be an area to focus on when consolidating on your learning or revising. The sooner you address any confusion, the more likely you are to stay on track. Now, we're on to the consolidation phase of the PACE system. Consolidation is all about reviewing and reinforcing the material you've covered in class. This stage helps to ensure you've truly understood everything and building upon it. The first step in consolidating is to review your notes after each lesson. This isn't just a quick glance through, take the time to read them carefully and highlight key points. However, when you highlight something, don't just mark it and move on. Annotate why that information is important. Writing a brief note in the margin or next to the highlighted section helps you engage more deeply with the material and solidifies your understanding. Adding annotations forces you to think about the significance of the content, rather than just passively highlighting. It's also helpful to add to your notes in a different color. This can be new information from a textbook, clarification from a teacher, or a detail you didn't catch during the lesson. The use of different colors helps visually separate the information, making it easier to see what's new or expanded upon when you come back to revise. Over time, this will create a more detailed and comprehensive set of notes that you can rely on when it's time to prepare for exams. Next, make sure to go back and complete any classwork you didn't finish during the lesson. Sometimes there's not enough time in class to finish all tasks, and it's tempting to let unfinished work slip by. But this work is important for consolidating your understanding. Completing classwork promptly ensures you stay on top of the material and helps fill in any gaps. Another powerful tool for consolidation is creating mind maps and diagrams. These visual aids help you see how different concepts are interconnected and make complex information more digestible. Mind maps are especially useful when trying to understand how broader topics relate to one another, while diagrams can break down processes or systems in a clear, visual format. Finally, one of the best ways to test your consolidation is by doing practice questions, especially those in an exam format. These questions not only test your knowledge but also familiarize you with the types of questions you'll face in your actual exams. The more practice you do, the more confident you'll feel about applying your knowledge under exam conditions. Finally, we have the extend phase of the PACE system. This stage is all about going beyond the material you've been taught and applying your learning to the wider world. Think of extend as additional study that comes after you've already gone through the stages of preparation, auditing, and consolidation. It's where you take the foundations you've built and deepen your understanding by exploring further. One of the most effective ways to extend your learning is to read beyond the syllabus. Don't just limit yourself to the textbook. Seek out additional resources like subject-specific journals, articles, and relevant sections from newspapers. For instance, if you're studying economics, staying updated on current events can provide real-world examples of the theories you've learned. Reading scientific journals or research articles is particularly useful for subjects like biology or chemistry, where new discoveries are constantly being made. You can also extend your knowledge by engaging with contemporary developments. Whether you're studying science, geography, or even literature, knowing how your subject connects to the world today is invaluable. For example, If you're studying geography, following climate change news or environmental policies will give you a broader perspective on your subject and make it more relevant to your daily life. Another great way to extend your learning is by using online resources. Platforms like Khan Academy or Seneca offer deeper dives into topics that might be challenging. If you enjoy visual or auditory learning, you can turn to YouTube lectures, podcasts, or educational channels that cover subjects in a dynamic, engaging way. Podcasts are particularly handy for subjects like sociology or politics, where discussions about current events and theories can provide insight that goes beyond the textbook. By extending your learning, not only do you broaden your knowledge, but you also make your studies far more engaging and connected to the real world. This added effort helps you stand out, making your understanding richer and your ability to apply knowledge stronger. Remember, independent study is self-directed, meaning that no one is going to tell you what you should be doing. However, the PACE system encourages a balance of structured study, self-reflection, and curiosity. It helps ensure that you're not only prepared for your exams, but also building the skills and understanding that will benefit you beyond the classroom. Independent study is a habit that will serve you well throughout your academic journey and into university or work life. Remember, A-levels are a marathon, not a sprint. The effort you put into your independent study now will pay off when exam season arrives. So, take control of your study time, embrace the PACE system, and give yourself the best chance of success.